Hello, welcome. So today we're going to be looking at some r/best of Redditor updates. Just looking from the title of this post we're going to read today, it looks insane and infuriating. So if that sounds like your cup of tea, then get comfortable and enjoy. And I hope it doesn't annoy you too much. So this post has been compiled by Boring History Fan. So this isn't the original poster, that's just the person who's kind of put it all together and collected it all for us, which is great. Says, HR won't do anything about a co-worker who's angry about my weight loss. Oh goody, I can't wait to read this and not be annoyed at all. So, HR won't do anything about a co-worker who's angry about my weight loss. Posted February 8th, 2023. This is an old one actually. I just came back to work after a long emergency medical leave. The TLDR is that after a decade of medical gaslighting, a new doctor ordered an emergency MRI during a routine visit and discovered a mass in my abdomen. Wow, I bet that was absolutely both infuriating and scary. Doctors need to learn to listen. They really do. We live in our own bodies 24/7. We should know if something's flaming wrong. I ended up having an 18-pound benign tumour pressing on my vital organs, and I was about a week away from multiple organ failure. So I'm lucky to be alive, and time will tell if I have any lasting organ damage, but right now, everything is fine. I am so relieved for you, OP. Mentally, I'm struggling with a few things, but the only outwardly noticeable impact is that I've gone from a size 20 to a size 8. Nobody on my medical team anticipated a change this drastic, but I'm healthy and lucky. I was expecting to get a lot of questions from my co-workers because curiosity exists. I had basic emergency surgery, but fine now, answer that almost everyone accepted, but one co-worker, who I hardly speak to. Aubrey. Oh, Aubrey, what are you going to do today to be a massive bellend? On my first day back to work, Aubrey came up to me and said, I wish you had come to me to lose the weight instead of resorting to such drastic measures. Oh, yeah, I just heard about this benign tumour diet. That was just all the rage. Shut up, Aubrey, you absolute tube. You're going to gain it all back, I'll be waiting. Oh, I'd have hit her with a laptop right there and then, But of course, little disclaimer, we don't condone workplace violence here. No, we do not. Anyway, I was aware of Aubrey's reputation, but since we never worked together, I didn't think it would be an issue. She's one of those people who think they're a fitness expert and calls herself a health coach. What's the bet she's a part of an MLM? What is the bet? Money on the table now. Who's betting? Nothing to do with the company we work for. She has a reputation for giving out unsolicited and incorrect health advice and is always commenting on people's food choices. I was speechless when she asked why I opted to get butchered instead of putting in the hard work to lose the weight. Oh, I'm sorry, Aubrey. I just didn't fancy being 6 foot under yet, There's nothing wrong with someone choosing surgical weight loss options, but that's not what happened to me, and I really resented her aggressive attitude and spreading rumours. Yeah. I resent it for you. During my week back, she came by my office at the end of the day in athletic gear, offering to go with me if I was too afraid to go to the gym alone. At the time, I wasn't even cleared to lift my kid, do laundry, or climb a flight of stairs, let alone go to the gym with this crackpot. I don't remember what I said to her, but she left saying I'd gained the weight back because I'm lazy. Oh. In the bin, Aubrey. The next day, Aubrey ranted angrily about me in a meeting I wasn't in. Missed it for a follow-up, ironically. I don't know everything that was said, but the gist was that if I can't dedicate myself to weight loss, I obviously can't see my work obligations through. HR called for a red flag mediation. Yeah, what are you doing, Aubrey? Ranting about this stuff in a meeting at your workplace. At our company, mediation can go against your bonus opportunities for the year. I have no idea why I'm in mediation when she's the one being an asshat. Yeah, exactly. But then again, I suppose you have to be there because she's kicked it all off, so it's the first step, I suppose. Well, hold on to your pantaloons, lads, ladies and thadies, because it's gonna get a whole lot worse. At the mediation, Aubrey stated that she was triggered by my new body and I should have thought of the other people's feelings and warned her before my surgery. Shut up, Aubrey. I hardly had time to warn my husband and get my kid out of daycare. I don't owe Aubrey anything. I have empathy that she's obviously struggling, but that does not excuse her behaviour. HR said that while they can't ask me to explain my medical history, it might clear the air if I told her what kind of surgery I had and why. I said I wasn't obligated to share my medical information with anyone, and that Aubrey having bad coping skills doesn't entitle her to a co-worker's personal health information. Ding ding, yes, exactly. This response was kind of, well, then we can't stop her from bullying you. Well, yeah, you can, HR. Yes, you can, because you're going to land yourself in some lovely workplace tribunals if you keep this attitude up. I am so astonished by the responses from just about everybody here. Honest to God, I cannot fathom. After Thanksgiving, my doctor helped me put in ADA accommodation paperwork so I could work from home. I was having some mild complications from surgery, but also to avoid Aubrey. Yeah, you don't need stress when you're trying to recover. This company hates remote work, so they're really not happy. See, now, if it's anything like it is in the UK, I'm not sure where you're from, but Aubrey is a very American name, so I'm going to assume the USA. And I know in the UK, workplaces have to make accommodations for you if you have what is classed as like a disabling illness or anything like that, or if you're pregnant or what have you. They have to put in accommodations so that you can still do your job. And if that includes working from home, if you can do your job from home, then they have to just suck it up and do it. I have tried to say the next bit about 5 times now, and I keep tripping over my words. Apparently these three next words together are impossible to say. Aubrey still emails me. There we go. Did it. Got it. Yeah. Aubrey still emails me workout videos and diet plans, and when I forward them to HR, their response is, noted. Do you know when you're coming back to the office? HR wants to get fined. I've been thinking about escalating this to corporate with an employment lawyer. Is that overkill? No, it's not. Do it now. Do it now. This is like a year ago, but do it now. I'm still in a sensitive place after my surgery, and I have no energy for this, especially since Aubrey is fixated on weight loss, which was the primary way doctors gaslit me for years. Yep, I can imagine. We see it so often, don't we, now on the internet? I think every, 10 or 20th TikTok is somebody who's been gaslit because they are overweight or even minimally overweight, and their doctors kind of just go, lose weight and come back. Shut up, you absolute pleb. I've been with this company for 5 years, and I'm just exhausted and disappointed in how they're handling this, and I want it over yesterday. Update 2, April 17, 2023. All I have to say for this update is hold on to your banana pants. I saw a lot of comments asking where my management was in all this, so I'll address that first. My boss, George, was getting ready to retire while this was going on, so George clearly couldn't give a frick anymore. George is like, see you later, bitches, I'm out. George is roughly my grandfather's age, so this entire situation bewildered both him and his replacement, who he was training at the time. Both of them met with Aubrey's boss because, believe me, I was documenting everything she did from the jump, and they all assured me that Aubrey would be dealt with. None of them recommended red flag mediation. That was HR's idea. I was given details of the meeting where Aubrey ranted about me, and it was horrible. But apparently Aubrey was asked to leave by her own boss while several other employees told her to stop. So, managerially, and in the office in general, people were trying to rein her in from many different angles. I just can't fathom why Aubrey is like a dog with a bone about this whole weight loss thing. Who cares, Aubrey? Who cares? If Aubrey lived in a village, Aubrey would be that one person that knows everyone's morning poo schedule. HR is where the ball dropped, and dropped hard. This company just has poor HR structure and bad entry to mid-level HR. When Aubrey's boss referred her to HR regarding her negative behaviour, HR took it upon themselves to consider it a mediation situation, which is, it's just no. Which, remember, at our company can go against your bonus for the year. Despite communication from George, his replacement and Aubrey's boss was saying I wasn't in the wrong. Oh, thank goodness someone has sense. When George found out about this, he spoke to HR generalist manager, who said that my absence probably caused a lot of strain and extra work for Aubrey, when Aubrey's not even credentialed to do what I do. Management made a point to tell me how baffled and upset they were by HR's handling of the situation every time something came up. My company mentor was also a huge support during this time until she decided to take another job somewhere else. I mean, I'm not surprised she took a job somewhere else if this is the way your workplace is structured, honestly. But yeah, it's just baffling. Honestly, I think HR structures in the US seem to be absolutely insane. All I know about HR in the USA is that it's supposed to be there to protect workers' rights, protect the workers, blah blah blah. But from everything I've heard and read and seen, they do nothing of the sort. Like, what is the point of them? Could somebody enlighten me who is from over there? Because I would love to know what the crack is. When my doctor extended my ADA work from home accommodation a second time, HR responded by telling me my attendance was a concern. I emailed their boss's boss, their HR director, and asked for clarification. He said I hadn't come into the office, so of course my attendance was a problem. I reiterated I had medical documentation stating that if work from home wasn't available, then they could refer to the FMLA documentation my medical team also sent. He replied that the medical documentation, including both FMLA and ADA reasonable accommodations, doesn't hold much weight with the company. They really want to get themselves sued, don't they? That's when I got a lawyer. Aubrey as a problem kind of drifted to the background when HR started their medical documentation doesn't matter campaign. On my lawyer's recommendation, I contacted the HR executive team, which is where the whole cursed situation came to light. And I did check with my lawyer about emailing this update. And they laughed and they said I couldn't leave people hanging after all that. Oh, I like your lawyer. I called the chief HR officer, which for my company is going over like 5 people's heads. But I did it with George's and my new boss's blessing. Honestly, I'm unsure on why George and the new boss can't just override all this and tell HR to go and shaft themselves. I don't get it, but okay. Who is the head of HR? And asked why my attendance was an issue when I had reasonable ADA documentation. She had no idea what I was talking about, so I filled her in on all of it, including the mediation meeting and Aubrey's harassment and the HR director and her direct report saying medical documentation didn't hold any weight with the company. She was speechless and asked to meet with me and my lawyer as soon as possible. My lawyer hardly had anything to do during the meeting because the CHRO was horrified at everything I told her. I've never actually seen steam out of someone's ears, but if it was physically possible, it would have happened here. My lawyer didn't say a word, but just nodded and smiled when the CHRO offered an extended paid medical leave so I could handle my recovery and said Aubrey constantly sending me fitness plans would be dealt with swiftly. Oh, good. Oh, good. I like this person. Hopefully this person actually has some common sense. I didn't hear anything out of Aubrey for a long time, but I did hear through some gossip channels that the HR staff involved in the red flag meeting, threatening to write me up, were let go. Aubrey wasn't fired because they believe she was misled by HR, so I understand that part even if I don't agree with it. But she was on tight pip for a while. Then she showed up at my house. What? Oh my god. Aubrey, you are an absolute what? Crazy lady. Now we move from banana pants to full-on banana ensemble. I want to see a full-on banana ensemble. I'm still on leave, and out of the blue, Aubrey showed up at my door on a weekend with 2 other women in tow, and the commenters guessed it. She is very deep in an MLM. Oh, there we go. I thought so. I had an inkling as soon as she was getting so weird about, why didn't you come to me for your weight loss? It was, the writing was on the wall. Aubrey came over to demonstrate some workout techniques and give me some diet supplement samples and discuss a career option because she was worried about my physical and professional health. She didn't make it past my mother-in-law, who has been a godsend right now. My mother-in-law made it clear where Aubrey could stick her demonstration, and they left in a hurry. I notified my lawyer and the CHRO, and suffice it to say, Aubrey is now a full-time wellness coach. Good. I love it. I'm happy I went with my gut and got a lawyer because the company has changed so drastically over the last year, with the toxic HR department encouraging behaviour like Aubrey's and spreading false information about medical leave and time off. The company is almost unrecognisable. Also, with my boss and mentor both gone, I don't know if I'm going to go back once I'm medically cleared. Very understandable, I think. The company is also undergoing a restructuring right now, and my department may end up distributed between other parts of the company company or even other parts of the state. I have been looking at jobs and doing some resume drafting for a full-time remote position since it feels like it might be a better fit. But many thanks to the comment section and all for the support. Yeah, exactly. And to be honest, I know obviously there are legal loopholes that your company have to jump through once they realise that Aubrey and HR were being absolute just bellends. But saying, oh, Aubrey was being led astray by HR is no excuse. Like, Aubrey just thought she could get away with it, so she was acting an absolute bellend. But Aubrey had those thoughts originally anyway. They were her thoughts. She just thought she could get away with airing them because HR were turning a blind eye. So saying, oh, we can't really fire Aubrey because she's been misled by HR, well, it doesn't matter. She still has some of the most toxic, venomous, ideas about you and your health. So she still thinks it's okay to bully somebody because of the way she perceives they've lost weight. So no, HR is at fault, yeah, for not nipping it in the bud and stopping it in its tracks, but Aubrey is still an arsehole. Don't get me wrong. I got an offer from a local company that's going fully remote with administration and management meeting up once a month. The salary was right. It's 90% remote. It's a good fit, and I'm so happy with it. My role is HR adjacent as head of payroll. I report to the COO and was hired by the CEO and the COO. Oh, that's so good. I'm so glad you found a position like that. I walk into our first admin meeting, and who is sitting across from me but the HR director who told me my medical documentation doesn't matter and orchestrated my red flag meeting. Let's call him Bob. Bob is the interim HR director for this company. Bob looked very uncomfortable when he saw me. We went through some employee files, including several who are on maternity leave and 2 who are injured on a job site. Bob got quieter as we began reviewing medical documentation and approving paid leave. I smiled and looked him in the eye every time I asked, "And does Jill have her medical documentation?" Great. Medical documentation holds a lot of weight. That's important stuff to have. He looked like he wanted to melt in his seat. I love that. At one point, he tried to argue against someone using their paid time off to provide end-of-life care for a parent when they had ample paid time off. What an absolute arsehole. I smiled and said, "You're right. Our employees' support fund should cover half of this time. It's a shame for them to have to lose all their paid time off when they're obviously going to need it to heal and grieve over the next few months. Why don't you get me the paperwork for the support fund this afternoon? That's so generous." Oh, that's great. Everyone was happy and in agreement. He looked like he swallowed a lemon, but everyone was like, "Oh my Bob." Oh my Bob. But everyone was like, "Oh my God, Bob, how thoughtful." He had to eat it so bad and got me the documentation an hour later. Oh, that's amazing. Bob can suck it. Bob is only a contractor, so he'll be moving on soon anyway. Medically, I'm doing better. I'm very happy to move on from where I was. Aubrey's been full-on radio silence, which is perfect for me. Thanks, AAM team and commenters. I think that's amazing. I love those updates. I think it's great. I'm so glad that Bob had to absolutely just eat the biggest humble pie. I think that's amazing. So, because we didn't get any of the comments from the original post, I thought, why not? I'll go down in the comments on this post on Best of Redditor Updates and see what people have got to say down there. So, Tychosis says, "I knew it'd be some MLM lifestyle guru bullshit. Do you get to keep what they take out of you? It would be nice to throw a nasty 18-pound tumour on Aubrey's desk and say, thanks for your concern. If you hold on to this for me, we can be sure I don't gain it back." And then Bitemark01 says, "The tumour recovered and became a wellness coach. It's right there in the story." Literally. Well, that was a great story, I think. If you made it to the end of the video, then I really, really appreciate you. I would even appreciate you even more if you gave me a like and a subscribe so you can find your way back here, because I do post new videos every single day. So yeah, if you want to come back, then do make sure to do that. Otherwise, I hope you have a really good rest of your day. I cannot wait to edit this. Goodbye.